Greetings, Wutan Shanivas. It is I, Beastly Dragoon, ready to do my first ever review. Interesting, is it not? This is the 2025 Motorized Talking Thomas that was released obviously this year for the 80th anniversary. So I'm going to take a look at Thomas first, and I was pretty interested in this because it's just so accurate. Let me show an example. I'm a sucker for accuracy and stuff. Let me see if I can grab another thing. How about this one? So yeah, I'm a big sucker for things that are accurate and look very similar to the official thing. So this obviously caught my eye as a result. And it has the added benefit of talking, and we'll get into that in a second. So here's the little 360 right here. And it obviously came with Annie and Clarabel, which we'll get into soon. So the main difference here compared to the old ones is the size. It looks so big. It's heavy, nice. It's heavy as well, so it's like, it's definitely quality feelings. I've been very lucky with this one to not get lining that's too off, except for this little piece right here. That's like the only lining that's off, and I guess this right here, but that's easily fixable with like a red paint pen. I guess now I'm noticing the wheel arch here is also a little bit off center, but still it's not that big a deal to me, at least. One thing that is a little bit infuriating is the red here. So if you don't know, the regular 3-packs have this splash of white at the front here, and unfortunately this does not have that, nor does it have painted buffers. This is honestly a little weird to me because in my opinion, I don't know about you guys, but in my opinion, it's all or nothing. If you're going to do one sort of detail, you should do it for everything else, you know what I mean? So like, the closest example is obviously this right here. If like, you know, they're doing it for some of them, they should be doing it for all of them, I think. The step ladders also aren't painted, which is also a little infuriating to me. This black part here, it's not that big a deal because it's the back. Usually people are looking at the front. That's where the facial expression is. And as you can see, his whistle is a sticker. I'm not too distraught about that because that's how Tommy used to do it anyway. So one thing I am distraught over is how it can't move. So you're either going to have to push it like this, which may screw with the gear inside, or drag him around helplessly. If you want him to go like the usual motorized stuff, all you have to do is push that button. I'm not going to play every single sound here. Underneath are these tabs, which I guess are supposed to, like, you know, make him talk while he's still moving. And I believe if you hold both of these...
Hey everybody!
It's a little funny because it's like trying to detect if there's any friends around. Because the cool thing with this has come a long way from the little ones where, like, you know, you would have to have a piece of rolling stock connected to the engine, and it's just, it actually detects other characters, which I think is a really cool concept if you're my age, being 22. So if you are that old, you'll probably remember Chuggington and their little interactive railway. It's the same concept here, and I really like that. It always interested me, honestly. Unfortunately, I don't have any other ones to do this with. The only stuff that I do have is from my childhood, and already, well, childhood, but still, and already you can tell just how much bigger it is compared to the old ones. And in all honesty, I quite prefer the size difference, and honestly, I quite prefer the accuracy here. I don't think, this is going to sound so weird from me at least, but I prefer these new ones over the old ones. Gasp! What? That doesn't mean I hate the old ones. It just means I prefer how the new ones look. They're just a little bit more accurate and in scale. Well, I mean Thomas specifically. The other ones, Percy's also pretty good, but if you know the Waves, the series, then you'll know which ones are kind of not good looking. But Thomas here is kind of perfect in my opinion. as you've seen previously, he has an LED and a little speaker here. Underneath, there are actually 2 screws to get to the battery compartment. And there's a little thing here that says to rotate it 10 times. Now, I tried rotating it 10 times and it did nothing. I believe what that means is how many times you have to turn the screws to open it up. One more comparison for good measure. Look at how good the white looks on this one. Something else that's pretty interesting is the old one is a little bit smaller compared to the new one. Well, shorter, I mean. It's a little bit shorter. Another thing I failed to mention is that he has completely new side rods. Really happy with the face here. It looks honestly kind of cute in my opinion. It looks like CGI, obviously, but I kind of like it. I also think the cab is a little bit bigger compared to the standard release. But in all honesty, it's kind of grown on me. Another thing I've noticed is that the smoke box here isn't actually black. It looks more dark gray to me. I don't know about you guys. I don't know if I'm just colorblind. But look at the cab roof. The coal definitely looks black to me. The chassis, absolutely black. The smoke box is a dark gray. I think it actually kind of looks pretty nice, honestly. At least on this model. I don't know how it would look in the show or whatever. Now here are Annie and Clarabel. Now they're pretty much the same, except Clarabel is shifted 180 degrees, or rotated 180 degrees. And you know, the way that you can tell is obviously by the names on their side. But as a kid, I always looked at where the coupling was. Gone are the days of Annie having that surprise expression and Clarabel being the only one that smiles. Which in all honesty, considering that this is for the CGI series, I'm not that surprised. It's also just a lot easier to make the same sculpt and then just, you know, turn it 180 degrees. I can understand the pelt on this part. It doesn't really affect me too much. There's still just Annie and Clarabel. They look perfect as is, so they don't need like completely different facial expressions. Yes, it would have looked really cool, but at the same time, I'm not going to make a fuss about it. The one thing that's a little bit off, in my opinion, is the gear wheels. I never understood these. One thing that they can do is they can open up. You can put little figures inside. Now we've tried putting Lego figures inside and they can't sit, they can only lay down, and you can only fit 4 of them. So these are really just for like putting in like little model characters instead. So if you are a parent or a guardian trying to get this for your kid, then absolutely get it for like, I think it's like $20 at Walmart, so absolutely get it. If you're a fan of the show and, you know, want something cool and cheap that looks accurate, absolutely get this too. I would say get one of the standard versions. And if you are going to get it, one thing I'm going to do is paint a little bit of this so that way it's a little bit more accurate. And I think you'll actually see that right about now. Now, doesn't it look a lot better? So I did a couple of things. I painted the running board white, the buffers and coupling black, and the step ladders here a combination of light blue and sky blue. It's not exact to the color Thomas is. I would like to add a little bit darker blue, but this is just an amateur sort of job using Posca paint pens. Now, they're not the cheapest out there, so if you are a parent looking to do an activity with your child to, you know, paint up and add little details onto your Thomas toys, then look for something cheaper. Otherwise, you know, if you're a customizer, I would definitely say, like, take it apart first, because this is absolutely an amateur sort of job. You can see that I didn't really get into all the nooks and crannies. Later on, I'm going to go back and update this, add some, like, Mod Podge, that way the paint is actually sealed, and, you know, it looks so much better with this little splash of white, and it looks a lot more accurate to even how they all look right now.
#1 blue engine, right on time.
You sure are, Thomas. And that was my review on the new 2025 Talking Thomas. So anyway, if you enjoyed this review, please absolutely leave a like. I am trying to do a little bit more of new things. This was my first time as a review. I've been having ideas to do reviews for a little bit, so if you enjoy this sort of review content from me, especially the way I do it, which is kind of boring, if it's boring, then give me some tips on how to make it a little bit more exciting. But otherwise, again, if you enjoyed it, let me know, and I'll make more if people really want it. I would honestly like to make something in this regard with, you can't see it, like a metallic Thomas or something like that, or even just like anything in general, to be honest with you. So again, you know, I would like to get the other ones just that way, like, you know, I have them, because in my opinion, these are absolutely really good. And honestly, I am kind of tempted to collect them because, again, they are super accurate. As I've said before, I am a sucker for accuracy, you know? It might not show in, like, all my customs, but I do tend to try and lean towards accuracy. So anyway, one more time, thank you all for watching. Have a great day.